So in this session, we will see how you can clean the data in your Power Query editor. So we'll perform a bunch of operations like removing the unwanted columns, dealing with the null values, that is the most important one, and removing the duplicate values in our data. So let's start with the unwanted columns. So how you can delete the unwanted columns. So I have loaded the bunch of files here that will be used for analysis. So there are a bunch of columns here for analysis. Let's say this is the phone number. I don't have to do anything with the phone number in my analysis. Yes, it is important for our information, but right now I don't need it for the analysis. So what I'm going to do, I have to remove this. So there are a bunch of options here. You can use the delete option in your keyboard, or you can right click on this and you can select this remove option here. So it will remove this. Similarly, I don't need this address line 1. So I'm just going to remove this column also, and address line 2 also. I'm just going to remove this. City, yeah, I'm gonna know the city, and the state, I don't want this state also. So remove this. Postal code, I don't want this postal code. So yeah, country, yes, I want this country, and sales report employee number, and this is the credit limit, right? So this is the thing, and you can see here, this is all right. If I check this employee, then extension, email, office code, reports to, I want all of this thing. Yeah, I can remove this email, but I'm just keeping here. From the orders, this is order date or required date, ship date, status, comments. So for the comments, I don't need any kind of things analysis on the comments. So I'll just gonna remove this column. Customer number, yes, I need it. From the offices, you can say address line 1 and address line 2. I just don't want this address line 2. I'm just gonna deleting this. And also from the postal code, I don't want it. And territory also, I'm just deleting this, right? And from the order details, so what I'm doing here is that I'm removing the unwanted thing that has nothing to do with the analysis, right? So we do analysis on the such thing which gives us some of the insights. So what kind of insight I'm gonna extract it from the phone number, or maybe a territory, or such things, right? So I am just removing all those things right there. And from the payments, there is this amount, yes, I want to keep all the columns here. And from the products, yes, from the product description, quality in stock, yeah, I just want to do this, right? From the product line, you can see here, this is a column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So this is not the name of the column, right? So if you just look at this clearly, that this is a product line in the first row, text description, HTML description, and image. You can clearly see that the heading is present on the first row of the each column. So what I'm going to do here, I'll just gonna select this, and from the transform data, I'm just gonna pin this. Use first rows as header, right? Use first row as headers. So I'm just gonna click on this, and now you can see that the product line, text description, HTML description, and image, these, the first row, the text that was present in the first row, now it's become the header, right? So this is how you can do this. And similarly, what you can do here is that I don't want this HTML and image. So because these two are the null values. So I'm just selecting this thing and remove these two columns, right? So I just only need product line and the text description. From the products, I need all of the columns here. So I have removed all of the columns that are the unwanted columns, right? Now what I have to do, the second thing I want to discuss is to how you can remove the duplicate values, right? The duplicate values from the rows. But before that, what you need to understand is that we don't usually remove the duplicate values, or we don't, if we do so, if we do remove the unwanted values or the duplicate values from the row or column, then we need to be careful while removing this, because this is the most important step here. Let's say in this data set, I have this the customer number, right? So if I want to remove the duplicates from the customer number, then this is the customer, that this data set is basically based on the details of the customer. So logically, there would be the one row, only one row for the detail of one customer. So the one row should be specified for the detail of the one customer. So what I will do is that and each customer is uniquely identified by its number, the customer number. So customer number is here, is the primary key, right? It is the main column which uniquely identifies other columns. So what is the primary key? So the primary key is a unique column, or a unique column which identifies other columns uniquely, right? So we need to make sure that this column contains the unique values, right? So I am just gonna remove the remove duplicates, right? This is the option here, remove duplicates, and it will check if there are some duplicate values, so it will remove automatically, right? So similarly in the employee number, so employee number will identify each employee separately. So if I just remove this remove duplicate, so there are no duplicates here in this data set. Now you have to make sure that you have to select the primary key, right? The key which identifies other columns uniquely. You don't use the first name or a last name of the employee and just remove the duplicates. No, because the name could be the two person would share the same name, right? There would be a same name of the two persons. Maybe the address would be the same, but employee number or the customer ID, customer number, these are the things that are uniquely assigned to the different customers, right? That uniquely assigned to the different customers. So yeah, this is what it makes a primary key, right? So you have to make sure while removing the duplicates, right? From the orders here, you can see this is the information of the each order. This is the order number here. Now, if I give you an example of the payments, right? This is the payments data set, and here there is a payment information of each customer. Now you can see there are some of the duplicates here: 103, 103, 103, 112, 112, 112, 114, 114, 119, 121, 121. So you can see there are a bunch of duplicates. Why? It is because it contains the information about each and every transaction that a customer runs, right? So it is possible that there are the payment information of the same customer, right? So we can't just remove the duplicates from here, because if we remove the duplicates from this data set, then we could lose some of the important data, right? So we don't usually apply the remove duplicates on these kind of data sets. So the first thing that you need to identify, that is it necessary to remove the duplicates from the data set? Is data set required that remove duplicates, or if do we really need to remove the duplicates from the data set or not? So you have to make sure of it first. I hope you understand this. Now, the next thing I want to discuss with you is to how to handle the null values in Power BI, right? So how you can handle the null values, because while you are cleaning the data, then it is important to handle the null values in your data set, right? Your data set may contains a bunch of null values, right? So here I am this office data set, and here in this data set there is a state. There's a column named as state. So you can see there are a bunch of null, right? But what's interesting here is that it does not identify null as the actual null value, right? So it is because it is in a text format, so it is considering this null as a text, not the actual null value. What I'm going to do here is that I'm going to select this, and what I will do is the replace value from the capital null, and I will replace this with the small null. So why I'm doing this, let's see. I just click this OK. Now you can see clearly it is in the right side, and it is in a small case, in a lower case, and it is in italic. Now in Power BI, the null value is actually written in this format. This is the lowercase and italic format, right? In this format, now it identifies it as a null value, but before that it was not identifying it a null value. It's just showing it as a test. How you can identify which column contains a null value or not? You can simply see this green line. This is the green line. This is a small green line under this column. It shows, if you hover on this, it shows the number of values that are present here, and also the empty number. You can see there are 3 rows that contains the empty or a null value. So it means that it contains the null value, and the 4 rows that contains the actual value. So this is how you can identify if there is a column contains any kind of null values or not, right? So this is how you can do it, right? So now the question may arise in your mind that how can we fill this null values? So it's up to you if you want to delete this column, or if you want to fill this null values, then what you can do is you can just select this column and you have to click on this fill. So it is down and there is up option. It means that it will, if I use this down option, then it will fill the empty cells with the value that is present in the upper cell, right? If there is a New York here, NY here, then I will just, if I use this down, then look at this, it will just fill the lower cell with the same value that is present in the upper cell, right? So it was the original ny written here, so it fills this ny also here, right? So this is how it works. This is how you can use the fill option to remove the null values from your data set. But don't use this in any kind of in every scenario. Remember, each and every step I'm explaining to you to handle the null values, it contains any kind of specific kind of condition. In this kind of condition state, it is okay if you can if you want to just fill it with the up or down option, it's completely normal. But remember, there are some cases that you can't use this. Now you can see in this case, I am just on my employees data set. You can see there is a column named as reports to, right? So in this column, you can see it is filled with all of the numbers, but you can see there is a one value that is the null value. So this null value, this null value is present here. I can't remove this null value. Why? Because this what this column represents. It represents reports to, right? It means that the employee will report to the another someone senior, right? Reports to the someone senior, right? Now, if you see the other column that is present here, that is the job title. So in the job title, you see there is a president, right? So the president, corresponding to the president, there is a written null, right? So it is obvious that the president will not report to someone else, right? Because president is the highest level of post, right? So it will not report to someone. There is no one senior to him, right? So that's why there is a null that is present here, and we can't do anything about it, and we will just keep it as it is here. And also there is also a data set that is the orders. If I check this status, right, in a status date, you can see there is the shipped and ship date, right? In a ship date, you can see in a ship date that there would be some sort of null values, right? If I only select this null value and deselect all the values here, only the null values, if I show you, so you can see that the ship date contains the null values here, right? And why? Because there is a cancel order, maybe on hold, it is in a process and the payment is not received, such a kind of dates. So that's why this ship date is null. You can see that this is a null values here, right? If I just change the format here to the date, because if I remove this filter, right, clear filter, now I got the whole of the data back. And if I change the data type here to the date, right, so it is converted to the date. And from here, if I want to remove the null values, you can see this is a null values, so we can't do anything about it, right? So maybe in future we will just use it as a, you can say, I would make a separate table for these of the data, that these are the order numbers that we haven't received the payments, or maybe they're cancelled, or maybe their ship date is null, right? This is how you can handle the null values in a different scenarios. We will explore it more. Maybe there would be a new scenario would come up here, but these are the all possible scenarios that I have discussed here. If you have any confusions, if you have any kind of doubts, then you can definitely ask me in the comment section. Thank you.